I'm Mark Press, and I'm here with ILTHY. I love the game of basketball. My dad was a coach. I grew up in a basketball home. The problem was I kept waiting for my growing spurt. I'm still waiting for that growing spurt. Never quite happened. So I was always small. The higher levels, obviously, 6 feet's not necessarily small in high school, but once you start playing in the ACC in college, the guards are bigger and faster and stronger, and then the NBA level, of course. I didn't really think about being a pro probably until my junior year in college. We started having a lot of success at Georgia Tech. We were going into my senior year, preseason #1 team in the country. And so I was, making, first team all ACC, things like that, that was kind of putting me on the radar of NBA teams. But I still think there were a lot of teams that, couldn't get past the eye test. When I walk in the room, I look like everybody else. I don't look like a basketball player. And I think there was a lot of skepticism of could I, take that next step and play at the NBA level. So, but after my junior year, I thought I'd at least have a chance, a shot at it. But I never would, guessed the kind of career I was able to have. To be honest, I didn't know much about Cleveland when I got drafted here because I grew up in Oklahoma, played college basketball in Georgia. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the Cleveland sports teams, but it was obvious when we got here how quickly we could see how rabid, loyal the fan base was here in Cleveland for its pro sports. And so it just made the experience, that much better as we began to grow as a group and became, an NBA team year in, year out that was competing for a championship, and the excitement of playing in Richfield, Coliseum, packing it out, and home court advantage, all those things made it, a very special experience for me. Yeah, I think the one thing about Cleveland that I was appreciated, and I think they appreciated about me as well, was the effort and, like you said, the toughness and the grit. Hey, when you show up, you're going to give your best and leave it all out on the court. I think win, lose, or draw, Cleveland fans respect that as much as anything because Cleveland's, a town with a lot of hardworking folks. And so, that would just be my, hey, you representing not just yourself and your team, you represent the city when you step out there on the court. So leave it all out. No, I love what ILTHY's done with the, throwback look. It's even fun for me, when I see the old blue and orange colors when you go to a game. Still, people pull them out, or I might even see a price jersey every now and then still, which is exciting. So it's fun, I think, for Cavs fans to kind of get the throwback, every now and then. And because some of the younger kids, they don't remember what the colors were and the things we used to wear. So I think it's really good what ILTHY's doing, bringing some of that back. Drafted by the Cavs. Technically, I was drafted by the Mavericks and traded to the Cavs. Most people don't know that. But coming into that draft class in 1986 with Brad Daugherty and Ron Harper, Johnny Newman was in that class as well.
Get tired. When is he going to leave me alone? Price just takes it on his own.
Kind of come in and start fresh to a franchise that had struggled really up to that point. Came in 1986. They'd had different times during the war. They had Miracle, Richfield, different times here and there, but the years that we came in were following some kind of bad ownership situations and things like that. So they were starting new and were part of that building process. And so to grow, to play here 9 years, we had great teams. Great teammates, but the connection with the fans that we made while I was here in Cleveland is what made it special for me. Most of my years that I played, we were playing at the old Richfield Coliseum. Although we were the professional basketball players, the way the fans, and people, particularly in Hudson where we lived and everywhere, they were always really good to me and my family. And we were just part of, seeing them at the grocery store and, doing what everybody else does. And was involved in church, the chapel at Akron during the time as well. So just really jumped in with both feet. A lot of our guys were the same way. So I think that's what the connection between our team and the fans was so special because they saw us as one of them. Well, I feel fortunate. Like I said, the majority of my career was with Cleveland. It's such a first-class organization. As I bounced around in later years, I realized not all franchises were like that. And so I was fortunate to play here in Cleveland. The fans were obviously hungry for a winning basketball team. And so, they kind of saw us in our infancy. From, our first year, I think we might have won 31 games. And we all came from winning programs. In college, Brad came from North Carolina. I was from Georgia Tech. And Ron Harper had a successful career in Miami of Ohio. We were used to winning. And so 31 and 51 didn't seem great to us. We were like, man, that was not great. But yet the fans, what they had experienced, they saw the potential there. And of course, we grew to 41 wins the next year, got to the playoffs. And then during our time, we had 3 years where we won 57 games during the course of the regular season. So not only was that a great run for us, it was the fans were right there with us to kind of enjoy that ride up into, really building our franchise into one of the best in the NBA. 40-90 is somebody that shoots 50% from the field, 40% from the three-point line, and 90% from the free throw line, all in the same season. I think from around 11 guys, only 11 guys have ever done it in the NBA. Larry Bird was the first. I happened to be the second guy that had ever done it. So, to be honest with you, there wasn't didn't have the social media 24/7 buzz every day, which was probably good. I was just playing games. I wasn't even focused. I don't even know if I knew I was at that level during the course of the season. And then of course, by the end of the year, a lot of buzz was talking about, being part of that. Only the second guy to do it. So it was pretty cool, no doubt. I didn't get to shoot the amount of threes and things that guys get to do now, but I always prided myself on being efficient when I shot. So, that was a goal. I think for my career, I was like 48, over 40 and 90. So I was close to being a 40, 50, 90 guy for my whole career. So that was something I always took pride in. Well, I definitely consider myself a Cav for life, no doubt. But, to have a franchise that you put so many years of blood, sweat, and tears, the highs and the lows, and the good moments, the tough moments, all those things that I got to experience here, to, at the end of the day, have the ownership of that franchise say, hey, we appreciate what you did, and we want your jersey to hang in the rafters. I don't think it's hard to put into words how much that means, and how much that means to me every time I walk into that arena and just happen to look up and it's hanging there. Yeah, it's almost beyond words to how blessed I feel to be able to been in a situation where that was able to happen. My faith in God has always been the centerpiece of my life, and guided me in my approach to how I do things. I was blessed, obviously, that God provided me the ability to play the game of basketball, and so I always wanted to go out and play in a manner to honor that and to give my very best and to get every ounce of what I had and leave it out on the court. And that was always my motivation, even with the community connection as well. Like I said, it was always important for me, wherever I lived, to be active in a local church, and while I was playing for the Cavs, and that community as well. And even sing, I grew up singing in the church with my family, and so I even carried that over. I got to sing a few times, at the chapel while I was playing for the Cavs, and was able to just kind of keep that faith process continuing to grow while I was in a big church right there. And it was funny because when I first got to Cleveland or whatever, I remember sitting in a restaurant and I just was asking, are there any good churches around here or whatever, and somebody mentioned that to me, so I went to visit it. And the pastor, going back to the eye test, the pastor knew Larson. I went to and heard his message and went down afterwards and just wanted to tell him I appreciated his message and all that. And he asked me what my name was, and I said Mark Price, and he said, well, the only Mark Price I know plays for the Cavs. And when I said, well, that's me, he was like, he couldn't believe it, because I didn't pass the eye test, once again. But that was kind of a running joke between Pastor Larson and myself over the years. I think these teams mirror each other quite a bit. You mentioned the good guard. Obviously, Darius and Donovan are all-star caliber guys year in, year out. We had that with myself, Ron Harper, Craig Elo. We always had great backcourts, even to guys that backed up, Terrell Brandon, Kevin Johnson came through here as well for a minute. And so, and also our bigs, so we had a lot of similarities between our teams. And so it's fun for me to kind of see this team develop because I do see a lot of commonality in between the two teams. Well, two things I think represented our team, and I see it a lot of this team as well, is unselfishness, and they enjoy playing together. I think that's a rare combination, especially in today's NBA. With the contracts as big as they are, guys kind of worrying about getting theirs and everything else. And find a group of guys that really do care about winning, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I got to be the leading scorer every night. When we played, we always looked for where we had the advantage. Brad might have it one night, Larry might have it one night, I might have it one night, and we just fed each other, understanding those things. And I see a lot of that with this team as well. You get out on the floor and you're in the midst of a battle. I mean, it's better to play with guys that got your back, and that's what I sense with this team as well. Yeah, I didn't really think about it at the time because I just played the way that I played. I mean, when I came out of college, a lot of teams kind of looked at me as he's a shooting guard in a point guard's body, and can he transition to the point guard position? The game was played a lot different when I came into the league. Your point guards were more in the mold of a Mo Cheeks type player where he ran the team, made sure everybody got touches. If he was open, he'd shoot the ball every now and then. Whereas I came in, and I think my second year in the league, I was the third highest scoring point guard in the league behind Magic and Isaiah Thomas. And so, and I would pull up, from the 3-point line. And I laugh about it now. I led the league twice with 3-pointers attempted a game, shooting 5 of them. And that's like a first quarter stat now. So, it was a different era, but I do see it. I actually have seen videos of other people talking about that thing. The way I played was kind of a sneak peek to the way the game is kind of moved toward.